What's going on, y'all? I wanted to address this this statement that a brother made under one of the videos that I made. It was one of the debating white people one of the most recent ones that I did. Let me see if I can find it. Hell, fuck it. This guy, he said something about me wasting time talking about racism when I should be talking about fatherlessness. Okay? He said that fatherlessness is the root problem of why black people are in the condition that we are in today. And I 100% disagree with that. 100% disagree with that. Our position in racist white America has nothing to do with fathers being absent in the home. And to be completely honest with you, there are just about as many white fathers who are absent from their children's home as well as in the black community. Matter of fact, it is actually it has been disproven statistically, since people want to look at stats. If we actually look at the stats, there are more black fathers in the home than I believe he said Mexicans and Indians or something like that. The black father is in the home. It's just that society, racist white America, the media, they are pushing the status quo. They are trying to make it the status quo that black fathers are not in the home. But enough with being in the home. I'm from a city called Shreveport. And Shreveport is also known as Ratchet City, right? For those of you who don't know. They call it Ratchet City for a reason. One of many of those reasons, is the fact that people sleep around. That's, we're not the only ones doing it. If you want to, try to make that a big deal, you want to make that nothing into something. But part of the reason why why Shreveport is called Ratchet City is because a lot of people sleep around, and it's not just black people. Black people aren't the only ones that's sleeping around with everybody, but it becomes an issue when a lot of these people start having babies. Okay. Now, these fathers who get these women pregnant, they don't necessarily have to be in the home in order to raise that child to be a product of a productive citizen in racist white America. Matter of fact, that father and the mother are going to raise that child to actually fear the system so much that they become a battery that keeps the system going. Okay, now that is something that that we got from being in slavery for 300, 400 years, and based on the book that I'm reading, check out the playlist if you're new to the channel. Check out the playlist How White Folks Got So Rich, which proves without a shadow of a doubt that our position, the black condition, the black mentality was created by the racist white supremacist system. And we raise our children to become a battery that keeps that system moving, to keep that system in power. Okay? Now, I don't have no notes. I'm driving around. I'm trying to think of everything as it, and I'm speaking as it comes to me. But to get straight to the point. What is going to help the black community is not putting fathers in the home, because sex is such an addictive temptation. Nobody is going to be in the house, women or men. Okay? What is going to help the black community prosper and get us on par with the Jews and the Asians and all these other people, the East Indians, the Pakistanis, all these people who are coming into our community, building businesses and leeching all of our finances. The best way for us to come together and become financially independent is unity. UNITY. Unity is the only way that we can come together and rise. Okay? Not fathers being in the home, not mothers and whatever other reason that you could say that that the black community can come together and become economically independent. All of that small stuff. All that stuff is small. All of that stuff we work on after we become economically independent, financially independent from our oppressor. Until then, there will never be fathers in the home. To make a statement, I don't have a problem with the brother's statement. Okay, the whole purpose of this channel is for us to discuss things like this. We never really just discussed. But he came to me humble. I had no problem with the comment that he made. He just came from his perspective, his position, based on how he views life. And it shows that a lot of us view life wrong. Do I view life right? Hell no. None of us view life 100% correctly. But we can have a subjective view of life and project it as though it is the 100% truth. In certain areas, we have to actually look at everything from every angle. When we talk about black unity, when we talk about black economics, being financially independent from our oppressor, when we talk about that, we have to look at it from the angle of the oppressor. We have to look at it from the angle of the oppressed, and we have to look at it from the angle of the person who is neutral. Those persons who are constantly making suggestions to the oppressed, and they have never experienced what the oppressed has experienced. Not to mention, let's not even mention the privileges that other races of people received after they had been mistreated here in America. The Asians got their piece of the pie. The Jews got their piece of the pie, and America didn't even do shit to them. The Asians, the Jews, and even their own people that they did wrong. Those immigrants, those Scottish, and all of those people who, whenever you get in a debate, they say that their ancestors had nothing to do with slavery. They didn't own slaves. All of those people, those ancestors of white people, who their fellow white people did them wrong. All of them got a piece of the pie, except black people. Okay, but so if anybody is having that thought that fathers in the home is going to save the black community, you're wrong. Okay, we can still raise our children to be good citizens. We can still teach them. We can still teach the boys how to be men. The boys don't necessarily need a father in the home to raise a boy to be a man. Matter of fact, there's a sister by the name of TT who has a channel called The Female Sex. She proves this. She proves this statement, or that sentiment. She proves that sentiment based on common sense. And this is something that, I try to stress to black women. Matter of fact, a lot of the single women that I know who are desperately looking for, someone to help them raise their kids, that you don't need a man to help you raise your child. That is why you are that is why the black woman is God. Okay, my father and my uncles, only raised by my grandmother, all of them turned out to be great men. Great men. No one is 100% perfect. Everyone has their flaws. But when it comes to being a man, at least the best man that they could be, they fit the description perfectly. A woman by herself did that. And of course, there were men who were there to help, to impart wisdom as they came up. And that is our position in the black community. We have those elders all over the place. When you become spiritual and you start seeking spiritual enlightenment, a lot of black men become your spiritual father. For me, it's Rod Neffa and Mortai Ashby. Because when it comes to spirituality, no one else is teaching it the way that they're teaching it, and it works for me. Okay? It may not work for somebody else, but it works for me. Okay? Yeah, man. I just had to make this video because that was, I was really dealing with that while I was at work. If you're watching this, the guy who made that statement or that comment under the video, if you're watching this, I just want you to know that, it's no beef, no animosity. I understand where you were coming from, but on on a intellectual level, you know, I had to correct you. Okay. It's not that I know more than you. It's just that when it comes to black nationalism, I have all the angles covered. Being pro-black means being there for your people. Matter of fact, while I'm speaking on pro-blackness, I made a video called Drapetomania that I haven't made public just yet. But in that video, I state that that there are people within the conscious community who claim to be pro-black, but they're really not. And I alluded to some of those persons who were not in the conscious community who were pro-black, and I made a mistake. I really thought that those persons were pro-black, and they're really not. These persons outside of the conscious community who seem to be pro-black, they're not pro-black. They are building a fan base. They're building fan bases. What they want is they want white fans and they want black fans. And they want their white fans to understand that that I can, the same way I shit on your people, I can shit on my people too. The problem with that is that you're really destroying your own position. You're shitting on your own position. Because if you do not understand why black people do the things that they do, you are fighting you're fighting a losing battle. You can't dog out the white man and the white woman and then turn around and dog out your own people. Okay? There is no honor in that. You know, but what do they say? They say there is no honor among thieves. So who are you stealing from? You're stealing from your own people. You're no different from the Tommy Sotomayors of YouTube. Okay? I just had to air that out. I had to say that. You know, all this ties in. Because whenever we talk about blackness, we have to cover every single aspect of our existence in racist white America. Okay? Again, I say, we do not need fathers in the home in order for our black community to be prosperous and successful. When we become prosperous and successful, we'll see the need for fathers to be in the home. That is why fathers are not in the home now. Because they feel that subconsciously that they made a mistake and they want to live out their life. They think that their child is just a hassle. Okay, now I'm not making excuses for it. I'm just telling you why they do the things that they do. You know, the stories that I've heard from many men who say, you know, who give you their reason why, who are, you know, courageous enough to tell you the truth. Yeah, I'm a deadbeat, but this is why I'm a deadbeat. Okay? And you can't argue with a person's position. Okay, you cannot argue with a person's position in life. If a person chooses to be a certain way, then let that person be that. Don't dog them out because they chose to be that way. Don't be so conscious that you lose sight of what the true purpose is. Do not be so conscious that you lose sight of what the true purpose is. Delivering the minds of black people. Bringing awareness to black people. Just because you point out a issue does not mean that is going to change the person's mind, or that's going to change the person from doing what they're doing. All that means is that they're going to do what they want to do behind closed doors now, more discreetly. You want to talk about Dr. York raping kids and this, that, and third. Talking about it is not going to change anything. If somebody's going to rape kids, they're going to do it more discreetly. You want to talk about somebody who steals and overusing welfare, they're just not going to go public with it anymore. You want to talk about somebody who beats their kids or molests their own kids. They're just going to be more discreet with it. Our purpose is to address the root issue, not the surface issue. Addressing the surface does not make things better. It just creates a wall. It creates a defense mechanism for a person not to be seen. What's done in the dark will eventually come to the light. Okay, that's understandable. But how do we want to run this if we're so-called pro-black? How do we really want to do this? How many of our own people do we want to see die? How many of our own people do we want to see fail because of a lifestyle that we don't agree with? Okay? Am I saying to slap our own people on the wrist? Hell no. Hell no. Because when we know from our own children what slapping on the wrist do. They just say you can go back out and do it again. We have to create a system where we judge our own, where we sentence our own. Okay? All of this stuff comes with unity. As long as we are projecting disunity and disharmony and discord amongst each other, then we will never excel as a black nation. All we're going to be known for is a group of people that complain and point at each other and say, look what that black person over there is doing. Look what that black person over there is doing. But look at what I'm doing. I'm so conscious. I'm so perfect. We're not so conscious and we're not so perfect if we are exploiting our own for views, likes, and for bullshit. You will never see me on this channel talking about another black person. You will never see me do it. Not even in everyday life. You will never see me dogging out another black person. Now, if you hear me talking bad about them, that's just me addressing the issue. We all got to address the issue. But at some point, when do you address the cause of that person's issue? You want to talk about the surface all day long, but you never want to talk about the deep. There's a Christian saying, and I believe that it's a verse in the Bible that says deep calls out to deep. The deepness of a person's pain is calling out to the deepness of your understanding of that person's pain, since you're so conscious. Since you are so conscious, eradicate the issue. Let's see you eradicate the issue. Once a person understands why they're doing the things that they do, then they stop. Then that's when they implement things in their life to help them stop the wrong that they're doing. You don't just tell a person that, the reason that you like to bully is because you're feeling neglect at home. No, that does not stop it. Yes, that is the surface reason why that person likes to bully. But how he's getting the neglect that he's getting at home comes from the corrupt system in which we live. The child does not see the neglect coming from the system. The reason that your father was not able to play with you as a child was because he had to work a 9 to 9 and overtime. Yes, I said 9 to 9. It's not 9 to 5 anymore, because people are working longer shifts now for lower pay. No one is telling little Billy or little Jacavian. No one is telling this boy that the reason his father is not in his life is because he's dealing with the stresses of the world. You're so busy mad with him, and you're not looking at why he's doing what he's doing. All of this shit ties up. All this shit ties in together. But no one wants to address it. Everyone just wants to talk about it for views and likes and comments. You leave the conscious community. No, you leave the church and you go to the conscious community. And then you find out that the conscious community is no better than the church. And then you go to these group of people who are conscious, but they're not a part of the conscious community. And you think that these people are better off than the conscious community, and they're not. And all of them have the same problem. Every single last one of these organizations have the same problem. And it's so simple. When you read the Willie Lynch letter and you actually understand the Willie Lynch letter, pro-blackness becomes easy. Black nationalism becomes easy. Everything dealing with black people become easy. Matter of fact, I wonder if the guy who wrote the Willie Lynch letter, if he actually understood what he was writing. Or maybe it's just me. Maybe I look too deep into things. Maybe I look just a little bit too deep. And maybe I look so deep that I create this benefit of the doubt system for black people. Why shouldn't I? See, black people who address black issues are no better than white people attacking black people. And let me tell you why. If there are 3 black guys who rape a white girl, and you make a video talking about these black guys, you're black, and you're making a video about black boys who rape a white girl, given an age range of 15, the guys are between 15 and 17, and the girl is between 16 and 17, 15 between 17. Okay? They're all in high school. Okay? How do you address that issue? If you address that issue by saying how wrong these black guys were, how they could have went and paid for some sex, or how they could have done this, or how they could have done that. Eldridge Cleaver made a quote, or I've seen this quote, looking up other Black Panther quotes. And Eldridge Cleaver says something along the lines of, when I embrace a black woman, I embrace slavery. But when I embrace a white woman, I embrace freedom. Having a black woman is fine, but I am not free until I have had a white woman in my bed. Okay? Now, me personally, the video I did on interracial dating will explain how my position on interracial dating. But the mindset, okay, we're talking about slavery. That post-traumatic slave syndrome that Mother Joy calls it. Now, I'm not a psychiatrist. I'm not a very deep thinking philosopher. All I can go by is what I'm given. These black boys did not do this because of something nefarious, the surface nefarious reason. That's not why they did it. The reason that they did it is much deeper. It's much deeper. It goes to the standard that society has created, or the status quo that society has created. He knows subconsciously that he can never have this white girl. So he forces himself into her. Am I making an excuse for him? No. But calling him evil, calling him, out of his name and all these other things, he deserves it. But at the end of the day, how are you going to bring him back to his natural self? The whole purpose of pro-blackness and black nationalism is bringing black awareness to black people. Not just any black person of your choosing. This is all black people from every single walk of life. And we talk about those thugs who did it on the block. When they get out of prison, we want to do it for them when they get out. The conscious community talk about how this person, how he was in jail and now he's out on the streets, and let's take care of him. When he sold drugs to the community, when he did all of these things to the community that would bring the community harm, that's no different from a rapist or a molester. Am I talking about Dr. York on the sly? Probably so. If the shoe fits, wear it. But when we talk about pro-blackness, when we talk about black nationalism, are you really practicing? Are you truly practicing it? Are you truly practicing black economics? Do you really hate the white man as much as you say that you hate the white man? And if you hate the white man so much, and if you hate all white people in general, why are you even driving their car? Why are you paying taxes to them? Why are you paying your car note to them? Why are you buying their shit paper? Why are you living in their house that they built on their land? Don't be so conscious that you're stupid. See, a lot of people, I promise I didn't mean to make this video this long. I promise you I did not mean to make this video this long. But this is something that's really dear to me. I did not think a lot of these topics that I'm touching on right now were not meant to be in this one video. But I might as well talk about it. But don't be so conscious that you lose sight of what the true mission is. The true mission of being pro-black, a black nationalist, practicing black economics. It's all about bringing awareness to our people, our black people. Okay? No, we don't make excuses for our people, but we do have to address the root cause of why we do the things that we do. And we set up a system, our own system of government for that. Okay? Group economics, black nationalism, Pan-Africanism. Okay? We as black people, we have to come together. That's the only way that we could prosper financially. It's the only way we could be successful is if we come together in unity. Not come together in strife. Not come together with beefs. Not coming together to talk about bullshit. But when we come together in unity and like-mindedness to not necessarily overthrow our oppressor, but do enough to scare our oppressor into respecting us. Okay? They can't bomb us anymore. Okay? They can't bomb us anymore. They can't set up systems of taking us out of the businesses that we created, that we're going to create, because it would look like conspiracy. It would look like, okay? All I'm saying is, we don't need fathers in our homes to raise the children. If me, myself, I am a father that is in the home, who is raising his children. But it's not a necessity. The black woman is God and she can do miraculous things. The black woman is the one who can turn a stone into bread. Okay? In case you don't know what that means, that means make something out of nothing. Okay? In understanding and overstanding that it is unity that will bring us together, we have to, that unity requires us to put down our prejudging characteristic, our prejudging trait. We have to put that down. And we have to look at every single black person as a brother or sister. And we have to look at them in their root chakra position in life and help them rise from their root chakra. This is why all sin is the same. All sin is the same because you are stuck in your root chakra. Okay? No sin is greater than the next one. No matter why you do what you do, you're still stuck in that root chakra. So, at the same time we're trying to elevate our own people, we have to try to elevate ourselves. By elevating ourselves, us being black conscious persons, we elevate our consciousness as high as we can to solar plexus, to the heart chakra, throat chakra, to the pineal gland. And if you're able to elevate to the crown chakra, then you're going to be the next Jesus or something. You know what I'm saying? We should be following you. But a lot of us should try to raise our frequency, our vibration, our consciousness to the highest chakra possible. Okay? We cannot lead our people and we're stuck in our root chakra. Anything can happen. And that's what you're seeing on these other YouTube channels. You're seeing people who are stuck in their root chakra talk about people who are stuck in their root chakra. See, the difference between you and that person is you just didn't get caught yet. That's the only difference. That's the only difference. Now, you may say to yourself, well, what I did ain't as bad. On a spiritual level, it is. And the spiritual level is really the only level that matters. Now, if you want to talk about how people view you or how people see you, then you're most definitely stuck in your root chakra. If you care about how people see you and how people view you. And most definitely that's why you're doing what you're doing in the dark. Okay? But, man, I apologize, to all of you guys who, decided to watch this video. I apologize for making this video so long. I promise you, I came here and I wanted this video to be done in 10 minutes. Around the 10-minute, 15-minute mark. That's how long I wanted it to be. But, let me know what you guys think, man. My position on fathers being in the home is solid. And I gave you the reason why. I don't believe that fathers being in the home is going to help us economically. Yeah, I think that's just, that's utter nonsense. But, let me know what you guys think. If I'm wrong, tell me why I'm wrong. Present some type of reliable resources or documents that prove that, black men being in the home is a thumb up for us to become economically independent, financially independent from our oppressor. Until then, my position is unity. And that unity should not be based on, who we think deserves our mercy, or persons who we believe should be looked at as holier than us, or or just as holy as us, or the clean only hanging with the clean. But I don't care. I don't care if you murdered. I don't care if you stole. Man, if you're black, I understand and I overstand. Matter of fact, I think if anybody should talk about black people and the things that black people do in this society, they should call that, look at what the white man did to us. That's what they should name those videos. They should name those videos, look at what the white man did to us. Because when we was in Africa, we weren't doing this shit. When we was in Africa, we weren't thinking about raping nobody. Rape culture came out of Europe. That's documented. Okay? Rape culture came out of Europe. So whenever you catch a black man raping a white woman, subconsciously he wants to be something. He feels like where he is just isn't good enough. But raping that white woman makes him feel like he's on top of the world. Like he took something from the oppressor and degraded it, just like he took us out of Africa and degraded us. No, that's not the way to go. But God damn it, we need to understand why we do what we do in order to change what we do. If all you doing, see, this is what black people who talk about other black people, this is all they're doing. You want to eliminate the problem. You really do. You really want to stop that problem. You feel like your 2 cents concerning what black people do is probably going to help the next person. But all you're doing is you whacking at the leaves. You just whacking at the leaves. You're cutting branches. If you really want to stop, if you really want to eradicate the stereotype that black people that we were put in, the stereotype that we were put in, if you want to eradicate that, you have to dig around the entire tree until you have taken up every single root. Now, another tree may grow in its place, but it probably will not be the same tree. I don't know nothing about nature. I don't know everything about nature, but I know enough to know that when you destroy something from the root, it no longer exists. And so that's what we as black people are supposed to be doing in order for unity to work. In order for unity to work, and we need the next person to get right, we need to eradicate his problem from the root. If that requires us to put that brother in jail, if that requires us to embarrass him, if that requires us to do on our terms, our way, then yeah, let's do it. But how in the hell can we fight our oppressor and we put our own people into the oppressor's hand? We have to look at every black person that commits a crime. No matter what that crime is, from the smallest crime to the biggest crime, we have to treat all those crimes the same, because that's just not a culture that we had. Okay? This is racist white America. And people are doing everything and anything in this society to get by. It's every man for himself. And it doesn't have to be that way. Okay? I personally believe that unity, us uniting under the same mindset of freeing our people from the hands of the oppressor, putting so much fear in the oppressor that we do win his respect or her respect, whoever's respect, enough to allow us to compete economically. Okay? So, yeah. So I'm going to end this video right here, man. Like I said, I apologize for making this video so long. If you're new, subscribe. Check out the content. For everybody else, I'll see you in the next video, man. Peace.